most heartily welcome to my YouTube channel, The 7 Secrets of Playfulness. This series of lectures is dedicated to all those all over the world who are engaged in doing theater and performing arts. Especially the funny figures on stage, as there is clowns, jokers, tricksters, but as well it's addressed to all actresses and actors as well. You can get out of these lectures something new about how to fill figures and scene plays from the inside. I want to give you hints to improve your playfulness. And as well, these lectures are addressed to all people involved in research about the clown's figure or the funny person on stage, to teachers on workshops, and to students who are involved to practice with theater, especially with improvisation. Playfulness is a key to improvisation, and playfulness as well is a key to get to an understanding from filling one figure and a stage play from your inside. It has to do with this, that you dedicate yourself fully to the action on stage and to the figure you play. So welcome you all. What I can promise is that you will develop your skills on performing on stage. You will improve your stage play, you will improve especially in your clowning, in being funny, but not by techniques. I won't give you techniques. Also, what you perform on stage, this is your task. It's your turn to what you perform. You make your own acts. I just give you the tools, and the tools I give to you are on the inner attitude. The inner attitude, how to behave in this figure, how to feel comfortable with your figure. You will get out a lot of this, I hope. The 7 Secrets of Playfulness. Actually, which is no secret, but an evidence, is that English is not my mother language. So I wish you to be tolerant. I mean, if there are odd sentences or words inside, maybe you find out the meaning, you follow me by intuition. This will work. I hope we get to a fine interaction and communication, even it's just from one side to the other, but as we are we are together in this way, I still try to reflect on you behind the screen. To me, it's a totally new experience. It's an experiment. I just try out whether it works. Feel invited, you all actresses and actors and players, to follow the mostly hidden path of playfulness. It will lead us from the philosophy and the idea of the clown's figure, which is as old as mankind itself. We follow this path, and by the side there are a lot of treasures to be discovered. For this, take your time. It will take you some effort and some time to attend these lectures. But you can pick out by notes you make on your own what is important and what is inspiring for you. To get out something of the lectures, you could do these notes for yourself. On the other hand, you can repeat each lecture as often as you want. I think it's useful for you to improve your stage play. So, from the idea and philosophy of clowning, we will also cross the bridge to the practical exercises you can do on stage. I will give you some suggestions what you can do on stage to improve your playfulness. Means that you feel more comfortable with your figures and in your scenes, and which makes you more playful and more joyful. Even if you express something in a tragedy, it should be playful from inside, because it's not serious. You are not touched by the things that are tragic by themselves, but you are playing, you are performing with this. This is your material, and what you express should be full of joy in behind for you. You always should be happy. So it's also a path to more happiness on stage. I hope you will enjoy and take something out for yourself. I am sure you will. Together we will manage. So far, to myself, I am yogi, pronounced as a Y and written with a J, and fully named Dr. Joachim Keller. I'm involved in this stuff with theater, with the philosophical approach and the history of ideas about the clown's figure since more than 40 years. Usually the written word is my subject. Now, as I told, I try to put it in spoken language, in this case in English. It is derived, the 7 secrets of playfulness are derived from die 7 Prinzipien der Clownerie, the 7 principles of clowning. I wrote this book with Dr. Annette Fried and Katrin Lachmund and Christian Menzel. All these 3 are colleagues and involved in the same subject, and they all do experimental animation and clowns theater. What you see behind are classical clowns costumes. This one is mine. It's the costume of White Clown Nemo. I call myself Nemo as being a white clown. But what is a white clown without August? Besides, you see the costume of my very dear companion on stage and as well in life, Dr. Annette Fried. She is my lovely and dear Augustina. Her and myself, Augustina and me, Annette and me, she's as well involved in these theater stuff and research about humor since more than 40 years. Even in practice, but mainly in research on the clown's figure, on humor. We are both doctors of philosophy, which equals PhD. This was the work The Clown, it is called. It's 3 books with empirical material interpreted, and we looked what we could take out, how to get an interpretation on what is happening on stage. How is the clown's figure constituted from inside? on behalf of finding out what is the inner attitude of being a clown or any funny person on stage. This went out to become our doctor thesis in this book, Identity and Humor. Actually, it was one of the first scientific researches on humor in German language. We didn't know this before. This we have been told by people who are involved in the therapeutical use of humor. Later I show you these books as well. Fascination Clown by Patmos Verlag, published by Patmos, was also a book written by Annette and me. So, but now we want to get to terms that make it possible to transfer all this we have studied in philosophy and social science, to transform this into practice on stage. Before we start, I want to give very, very special thanks and greetings to those who have motivated me to do this course on the 7 secrets of playfulness. And this is the marvelous theater group of the Dreamcatchers from India. Greetings from here to you. You are still in our hearts. You all actresses and actors of this marvelous theater group from India, from Bodh Gaya in Bihar and from Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh. You have been here in 2023 to perform during your German theater journey the stage play Majouche, which means feeling, or just invites to feel. You have bet the subject, and I have seen the show. It is so great. It is so joyful. It opens up the hearts of your spectators. The whole audience was always with you. We had a marvelous premiere with a standing ovation at Akademie Reusberg, here somewhere in the middle of Germany, where we are now in my little library. And from this start on, you have been successful on your whole way. And in the end, you came here again to perform in Aschaffenburg. And again, you had your standing ovation, and it was a path of success. You have not only been marvelous, really great actresses and actors, but also have been very brave. Yes, it's brave to come here to Germany, which is a foreign country to most of you, and to perform a piece here, as well as you did in India before, a play that concerns the female rights. It concerns the situation of the women in India, the social situation, and it's full of critique. And you show the path that one lady hero takes to go through her feelings and to develop her inner world, and in the end giving the expectation that the society can change. It is very brave, reflecting on the social situation of women in India by a theater piece. This was the topic of your piece, and you show a path how to get to more self-confidence and inner authority, you know, and you show the possibility, you give the expectation that the society also can change. You say it in your theater piece by yourself: You are the change. And you tell this also to the audience and let them take part in this change. And your message is that all humans are equal. A marvelous message. And you also reflect on this gender topic. And this also with a good expectation that there is a perspective that a change to the better world can be done. So thank you all of creating India and the group of the Dreamcatchers. I am convinced that the topic of your show, Mashush, opens the heart of people all over the world, and it is an encouraging theater piece. Thank you. For you, I am standing here in front of the camera, and I say again, thank you and namaste. A big hug from Germany to you. And there are also others, like these famous people meeting us in Greece. We had 4 workshops there, and it was just amazing to work with you in Heraklion on Crete. These have been 4 of our workshops with the most impact we ever experienced. Also, thank you for you, and a little anecdote from Greece from the beginning. When I said hello to anybody coming to this workshop, one lady came to the room and I introduced myself with I am Yogi, and she hesitated and said, "Oh, sorry, so maybe I'm wrong. I didn't want to attend the yoga class." And I said to her, "Oh, sorry, this is not the yoga class, but you are totally right. We are making theater here." So we had to lot of laugh in the beginning, and this was a perfect starter for this whole workshop with its really, really warm welcome on Crete, in Greece, and a most heartily goodbye we had with you. You still are in our hearts. And greetings to Dr. Barbara Nat Visa in northern India, in Sidbari, in Himachal Pradesh. We did with young women a workshop on Our Voice. The group was called Our Voice, a name chosen by the group for itself. A voice for young women to express themselves. And also greetings to all those Tibetans in India. We had the greatest applause ever, from 1,000 up to 2,000 children and young adults in our 3 performances in the Tibetan children's villages of Dharamshala and Gopalpur. And we also did a workshop in Bir. Greetings to all of you. So, that's enough for the beginning. Please follow me on the path of playfulness. Discover with me, you are invited to the 7 secrets of playfulness. And now, let's start. Namaste. Welcome you all to these lectures about the 7 secrets of playfulness. Today we start with the first lecture, and the first secret of playfulness I will discover together with you is astoundment. Astoundment as the first secret of playfulness. I was looking for the most fitting word. Astoundment is not so common in the English language. So for explanation it has to do, it's quite close to astonishment. But astonishment is a little bit, to my feeling, more excited than astoundment. And astoundment as well matches very good by the sound, astoundment, to the German word staunen. In the 7 principles of clowning, staunen is the first of all. It's also concerned with and very close to wonder about. If you wonder about something. But wondering about something is a little bit after the astoundment itself, you know. You wonder about what came up to your impression, what impressed you. Then you wonder about what is it? And the astonishment, as I told, is more excited. Oh, yeah, astoundment is more referring to an inner process of perception. You get an impression and the impression has the expression like, or this is when I take the breath in. This is the more passive type of being impressed. The eyes get open, widely open, for letting what impresses you in, and the mouth is open, and the breath goes in. It's the phases of breathing in. It's the part of breathing in. There is another type that is like, oh. Also, eyes wide open, mouth open, but there is usually the breath goes out. And mostly, in most cases, it's connected with the sound. This oh. This is what I mean by astoundment. I mean, it's the outside, it's the bodily outside, the expression of being impressed. Actually, I refer to the inner attitude of being astounded by something. It's the very first phases when something comes up to your recognition. It is before interpretation. It's before you value what is happening. You don't, in astoundment, you don't value the situation appearing to you. You don't value the thing that appears to your recognition or the person. It can be anything that gets into your senses by seeing, by hearing, by touching something, and you just feel what this could be. It's like a question. Oh, what is this? You know? And it is before valuing, it's before any interpretation. It's before judging about what it could be. Is it good or bad? Is it ugly or beautiful or lovely? Is it wrong or right? So you have no judgment in the moment of astoundment of what comes up to your senses. You are just impressed. It's the very pure way of being impressed. In one course we had a lady, she told in a feedback, I cannot remember when I was astounded last time. So for a long time she was not astounded at all. And this is the way you can recognize, oh, the world could be more bright, more shiny, more colorful if I was able to be astounded about things appearing to me, about that all what is happening around me. You can study astoundment in, for example, baby children. They are masters of astoundment because they have no prejudice about anything appearing to their recognition. For example, I now try to copy this baby child, and at the same time I will explain what is happening inside. I mean, it's the words of a grown-up, but as well you transform it to the feeling you have to this baby child in astoundment. It sees something. It's astounded. It tries to get somehow inside that what is impressing him or her. You see, the eyes are open, the mouth is open, and nearly every muscle in the face is working on something, expressing something. Also sometimes parts of the body work with it. And is it something to make me happy? Or is it something that makes me anxious or sad? Or it can make me laugh. Or it can make me cry. But nothing happens like this. It's not, the baby child is not laughing, is not crying, not yet. The baby child is just fascinated and watching. So, astoundment is the key to fascination, to be fascinated by something or someone. That's the reason it makes it so interesting for playing on stage, for improvisation, and for any figure on the stage. Before you express something, anyway, whether it's a feeling or a special meaning, you have to be impressed by something. The impression gives you the stuff what you can express. So if you get on the stage, you don't have to look for a story or for a content you can express, because there is already a lot there. There is something happening from the beginning, from the moment you enter the stage. For example, you go on stage and you find a chair. You see the chair, now two varieties. If I see a chair, it's just a sitting furniture. It gives me the possibility to ignore it or to sit on it. Both might turn out to be boring in case there is no other option to do something, to express something. So why am I on stage? I'm on stage to express things. So why is this chair here? I simply go into interaction with this object by being astounded by it. That's the easiest way. I see the chair, but there's not the interpretation that it is a sitting furniture. But this chair can be anything. It can be a vehicle. It can be a mountain. It can be even somebody else. And I can hug. I even maybe can kiss. And so that's all possibilities that are given to me and to my stage play by this simple chair. It can be anything. Even if there is nothing on stage, no props at all, no chair and nothing, I get on the stage and what is there? The stage is empty. Oh, you are there. I have an audience. Really? Oh, there are even more. Wow! You are all here. I just let myself being impressed by the audience, just by the presence of the audience. And it would be even a high-end play if I was only playing with the impulses I get in this moment and later on during an interaction, beginning with astoundment and continuing by reacting on this and getting reactions out of the audience and again and playing just by this. So you don't need a whole story before you enter the stage. The story will develop by itself. You don't need an idea. The idea is already there. You just have to discover, find out what is there. Astoundment brings you into the moment. There is nothing but you and the impression you receive. That's enough stuff to play with, to interact with. The ideas are there. You just discover and you begin to play. It can be sheer fun. With astoundment, you are really in the first point of recognition. The first thing, if you recognize something, and it's most easy if this appearing to you and appearing in your recognition is totally new. You think that you never experienced this before. Once there was a famous Spanish clown, Charlie Rivel, with common name José Andreu Lasser. I saw one opening of a scene by him in a film. He was sitting on a stage, the curtain was closed, and he was sitting like this in a very, very, very bad mood, actually. He was sad about something, just sitting there, and the curtain opened. At the first moment, he didn't realize this. He kept sitting like this, even if there was an audience. The whole audience was full. The room was filled with spectators. He did not realize at the first moment. Then by accident he took a look. He went forward to the gap of the stage, looking at all of them. It's been totally quiet in this big hall. And he just said, "Schön," which means lovely. So this is how he performed astoundment on stage. He made visible being astounded. I have an audience, and it made him simply happy. And to tell an audience that their presence makes you happy, I mean, it's giving really a good credit to all of them. I come back to the baby child. What Charlie Rivel did in this scene was just he went into the attitude of a child, an innocent child, and he just let himself impress what is in the moment. There is me and this wonderful audience. Lovely. It's lovely. Everyone is lovely. if you have this attitude, it's very easy to say yes to anybody in the audience, to yourself, to the situation you are in. It's lovely. Saying yes is the key of getting playful. So a key to playfulness. You can discover your playfulness just by allow yourself being astounded like this baby child. In contradiction to the baby child, after it was astounded, the view goes inside. You see, my eyes don't transport something to the outside, and my eyes also are still open but closed for new impressions. I'm now recognizing, I'm thinking of, my mind is working on what could it be that I have experienced. Usually we are very touched watching baby children when they are in this astoundment, because to them the world is in this moment totally fresh, totally new. They are in expectation. What does this big wild world keep for me? What is there? What will I get from this world? What can I experience there? In contradiction to this baby child, we don't have the time on stage to think about what we have experienced in this moment. We just start to act. We take the next impulse that came up after the astoundment. This is when Charlie Rivel came to the interpretation that what he sees is just lovely. Because you give in astoundment, you give your feelings, your emotions time to develop. And in the second that one emotion comes up in you, comes up to your heart, you have the stuff to play with. There is no more question. If you have a feeling, express it. This is the stuff playfulness lives on. So, you will act with these feelings coming up after you have been astounded by something. But now there comes a but. Don't remain in astoundment or astonishment. Don't remain just in this part of the recognition. Because there is one danger. If you are astounded in the beginning and you are astounded further on, and maybe your partner actors start to play and to act, and you are just astounded and astounded and astounded, you're out of the play. You are not into the interaction. You are a spectator on stage. But the spectators are there. They're in the audience. The spectators should be your audience. If you are a spectator on stage, you are not inside the play. This might cause bad feelings in yourself, and your partner players have to make the play all on their own. I think that's not really fair. So look that you get into the play. Astoundment is something you get in and out, and in and out. It's like breathing in, impression is coming, and you have a feeling, expressing. So it's both in intervals. You know, it's a lively change in between astoundment and expression, impression and expression, putting out something. Giving out what you feel. Again, back to this famous Charlie Rivel. What he has shown in this film is a classical clown's entree. You just have the closed curtain, the audience is there, and in the first, just a face is shown. Astoundment, and this. Then a big wow. Okay, this is one possibility. The other is curtain closed, a face appears. Oh God, curtain closed. It can also turn out like this. Appetence or aversion of what you have experienced. You are affected. After astoundment, you are affected. It's just you give affection a chance to develop inside you. And that's the stuff then you can play with. Okay, you if you do it in the second way, you create a specific tension, because everyone outside knows, he or she will come again. He will try it again. And so the curtain opens again. And maybe at that time you come out and make this artificial smile, this affected smile, and try to tell the others, because there is nothing to play with, that no theater is taking place in this moment, and the others, please, are free to go. Please leave, so I can feel better. Everything, everybody watching, you know, it can be frightening, but you can play with this being frightened by the audience. And you know, everyone knows it's a play. If you say, no theater is taking place on this stage. Because in the moment, there is an audience, and there is a stage, and there is a person on stage. It is theater. There's no way to escape. I will now give you a sample how astoundment can affect your own stage play positively. How it can influence your interaction with another actor or actress on stage. It was in a play. The situation was, one is the customer, in that case it was me, and the other one is the salesman. In this case it was a saleswoman. She was very new in our course, so at that time she did not really have an idea of astoundment. She just was playing in this improvisation, and she had the task, I want to purchase something. She has this something that I want, but she doesn't give it to me. But in a playful way. You see, this saleswoman is always cooperative. She wants to please the customer, of course, but she will not give away this thing he wants. And this make it playful. So, at the beginning of the stage, the saleswoman was already there behind her desk. The desk and everything was imaginary. We did play without any props. So I entered, I read before, tools shop. I entered by opening the door, ding dong. This was the sound of the doorbell. And I went to the desk and I said, she asked me, so, what do you want? What do you like to have? And I said, oh, you see, I have found here the tools shop where my grandfather even bought all his tools, and he always was served very, very good, and you had simply everything. And my father did as well. He also bought his things here, and so I do. And this lady behind the desk, she just told oh God, don't be this loud, I have headache. So I give you now a sample how it could turn out if I am on stage with a prejudice. What I experience is that I come with a good energy, I give high credits to this tooth shop and the saleswoman, and she is just telling, I have headache, please don't be so loud. So my energy is just sunk, you know. It's the type of energy killer you always can experience on stage. It's annoying. Where should this lead? You see? This now is a prejudice. I reacted, and in the background, in my mind, I came with a prejudice. You have to be on the same energy as me. Now, other way, I come in astoundment and I say, oh dear, you have headache. Oh, tell me, can I do something for you? Oh, no. Again, she says no to my offer. Okay, I have an idea. I think I have seen a pharmacy just beside your shop. I will go there and get you some medicine against headache. What about this? Oh, yes, I would like that you leave. Okay, so I left and I went out with the ding dong and everything. I went to the shop besides, this was a pharmacy, and I tried by shifting now the situation to pick her up that she could be the saleswoman in the pharmacy. She could be now the pharmacist. So I went through another door. It had another sound of the doorbell, and I went to the desk and said, oh, I need some medicine against... And the lady again, the saleswoman said, the pharmacist now, in my opinion, oh no, it's again you. Again me? I entered this shop for the first time. You see, if I come with the prejudice, oh, she has not picked up my idea that now the shop has changed. There is now another person behind the desk and she can serve me somehow or handle something. Now my whole idea is spoiled, you know. The whole play is spoiled. If I look at that in astoundment, I say to myself, Julie, I changed the shop, but I meet the same person behind the desk. So maybe it's me who is totally confused. And I went out very quickly and I said, tool shop, pharmacy, and there was something else, I don't know which shop it was. I went in there and again, the same person behind the desk. I went out. Everywhere is the same saleswoman behind the desk. Actually, the scene took a quite well development by going further on. This is how astoundment can affect you whilst playing. I mean, actually, I have been quite lucky. I'm always working on this. I have to work on this with all the experiences in my bag to find always again into astoundment. If you have experienced some scenes, you think, oh, now I know about all this. No, you have to work your whole life as a player on this, that you can keep astoundment, that you are able to be astounded at any second in the stage play, because it opens up for new possibilities. Everything appears new. And if you are stuck in a scene by astoundment, maybe it's just enough to be astounded, to find a way out, to get the next impulse, because you know it is there. You just don't see it in this moment. And if I was going with my prejudice, oh, this is an energy killer, after this scene, I could erase this energy killer ideology from my mind. You know, he doesn't exist, the energy killer. It's just you. It's up to you to do something with the impulse you receive. There is no wrong or right in an improvisation. It is dependent on what you get out of it, what you do with it. Give it an idea. The idea is there. Just discover and develop from this on. And don't be shy to be affected. Let everything come up to you. In Astoundment, your mind is open to recognize everything. If your mind is not opened up, you just will see the things on stage you already know. So that seems to be the safe way, but actually it closes you up to make new, exciting experiences. So open up widely in Astoundment. At that point, we come to the philosophical part of this lecture. Astoundment is a path that leads us back to the beginning, or should I say forward to the beginning, because the beginning is the aim. We have this in the Zen tradition of Japanese Buddhism. Zen-mind means beginner's mind. The developed Zen-mind equals the mind of a total beginner. The beginning is the aim. In any practice, in meditation, in whole Zen, you go the path to get back to the beginning, where it all starts. It's like a birth. If you transfer this to stage play or improvisation, it's not you who is the advanced player, actress or actor, and the other one is just the beginner. No, you are the beginner by yourself, all on your own. You stand at the beginning. With any stage play, with any improvisation, you are again at the beginning. You don't know, you have no plan, you don't know how it will all turn out. You just know that you get into the flow. By Astoundment, very helpful to get into the flow. You get into the flow and let it go. You are like a tool that makes it possible that ideas, fantasies, that the whole interaction becomes true through you, your body, your investment on what you are doing on stage. Everything, what you do, gets real. You put things into reality. That's what is meant with you bring it to birth. And with any improvisation, you're again at the beginning. Where do you want to start? Do you want to continue something? No, the last improvisation has gone. Just now, you make a new one. If you try to work on what you have done in an improvisation and want to integrate it in a scene play by a concept, you can do this. But you make this idea of this improvisation again and again new. You interpret it as if you had never seen it before. Then it stays fresh and lively. Otherwise, it doesn't work out, simply. So, in the mind of a Zen, and in the beginner's mind, best is I give a sample for this, from the art of archery, which means shooting with bow and arrow and trying to meet a target. Yeah, you go like this, and in Zen, it's not just like a sport. In a sport, you practice, you develop techniques so that you can meet the target with the arrow. In Zen, it is kind of a spiritual practice. You allow that the shot that meets the target gets real by itself. You just keep in position, you hold the bow, you keep the bowstring with the arrow, and you wait just for the right moment when the arrow goes by itself and hits the target. Finds his way into the black spot in the middle of the target. So, for example, if one practices on this, and sometimes it takes weeks, months, or even years, that one shot like this works out to meet the target. So in a book about the art of archery in the Zen tradition tells the problems arise in the moment when you meet the target at the first time. One day it works out and pooh, it just happens. The arrow finds his target by itself. Now, you could have the attitude, oh, now this worked out, so I'm an advanced archer and I want to copy this. I want to do this again. I want to be really good in this, and you try and try and try. But now you have the intention that it has to function. And this intention will block your mind. This intention will block the possibility that it happens again. So, the problem is to get rid of this in your mind. You have to come back to the consciousness that you are just a beginner. You have to let all intention that you want it to happen again, you let it go. There exists the story of one student archer who had one successful shot and he wanted to repeat it, and he worked out on the idea, okay, if I hold the bow and I take the bowstring like this and slightly loosening the tension of the fingers, and at one moment, I cannot say which moment it is, bam, the arrow goes. When the Zen master saw this, he went into a retreat for some days, considering whether he was up to kick this student out. Why? I tell you, the student was just using a trick. He tried to find a method or technique by which the arrow goes to the aim accidentally or incidentally, just by itself. But it's not true. You know, it's just a trick. You try to trick out. It's then just incidentally, but not the right moment. The thing is that you give the right moment the chance that it appears. And you let loose the bowstring in the right moment, and not just any moment, or that the bowstring decides when the tension of the fingers is weak enough so that the arrow can go to his target, its target. Concerned with stage play and improvisation, it's same. It's not just by accident or incident that stage play turns out to be funny or to be successful in any way. It is that you come to the mind that you are not better or worse playing than anyone else. You just always do your best. And doing your best means that you are not working on an idea or working to set up a plan whilst you are playing. No, you are just open and let it develop. You go with the flow, and it's somehow something real mystic that and also magic, that you do the right thing in the right moment. This you cannot produce. It can come out of you. But for all this, you have to be open-hearted and with a wide mind and without any intention, I want to be successful on stage. And the worst thing that can happen to you, please, 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 don't want to be funny. Usually this is the way into tragedy. Don't try to be funny. Let it happen that the things turn out, that they become funny by themselves. You don't have to work on it. I mean, you don't work at all on stage. It's play. Play is something very different from work. Because play, it's not good for anything. It's just good for itself. It's play for playing. It's not playing for having an effect. If you think of an effect, then of course you are working. But that is something totally different. So for this, astoundment is the inner attitude to bring your mind and everything, your whole self, back into the moment. And the moment is always now. That's why the beginner's mind is so important. The beginner is always in the moment where everything starts. He is in the eternal now. On the other hand, if you want to be really tragic and you put too much pathetic expression on what you are doing, it's like nobody will take you for serious because it's simply too much of a very sad thing. So if you work on tragedy, it might turn out to get funny by itself. So this is the opposite way around in case of wanting to be funny and ending in tragedy. Another world-famous clown was Grock, fully named Charles Adrian Wettach. He came from Switzerland and lived from 1880 till 1959. He made the Astoundment to his personal label, his brand, by the expression "nicht möglich", which means in translation, not possible. He did many things and commented with "not possible". I mean, he knew his gags and gimmicks, but he was able to be astonished, like the baby child, about the things he could do on stage. Sometimes there have been like little stories about how life is. For example, one just little thing, he has the bow and the violin, and the bow of the violin he throws into the air and tries to catch it with boom. Okay, he gets the bow again and tries. 3 or 4 times he's not able to catch the bow. And at each time he's commenting with this nice gesture of like it didn't work out. And so he goes behind a paravent and he hides himself before the audience and the public. And you see the bow come up and he catches the bow. You cannot see it, but you would hear it if the bow would touch the ground. And it works several times. So he comes out behind the paravent. He now has enough training. He shows his trick. Boom. Again, it didn't work out. So this is a little story about the effect. In case you want to show something, what you think you are able to do, it doesn't work out. If nobody watches you, you don't want to show it, then it works easily. So this is one of his plays. The main thing is that even if this man, when this man was aged, highly aged, he was able to get back at any time to this astoundment about himself. And all the time, when something worked out quite well, he said, "Not possible." Just 2 words that are good to make jokes with. German philosopher Johann Wolfgang Goethe said, "Treat the things that seem to be impossible as if they were possible." By this, we keep our mind open for visionary and utopian schemes. And on stage, we as well can make everything become true. And also in daily life, more things are possible than we can sometimes imagine. But enough for now with philosophy. Let's talk practical. Actually, there is a very small number of exercises concerning astoundment, or focusing astoundment, because the astoundment is so basic. It's inside any exercise, it's inside any stage play, any improvisation we can do. So, but one exercise I want to give to you is to send around in a circle the face, the expression of astoundment to our neighbor. The group stands in a circle and you give your neighbor beside you full attention by being astounded. Oh. And the one who is beside you receives this astoundment in his facial outlook and gives it to the next. By this, you give your partner full attention. And it's the way you give the attention in astoundment, so it's not saying, "You're ugly, you're beautiful," or just, it's like this. It's without valuing him or her. You just give this moment of seeing the other as a gift. It is a present. And it is a very good exercise also for team building. It makes a good atmosphere. Be astounded one about each other, because it's not just normal or an all days event that the group is together in this way. So express this by astoundment. It makes good feeling. As I said, it is team building and giving full attention to somebody. Maybe some start to laugh because it's very intense if somebody looks at you like this. So try to get used to that you have the full attention. You attract attention as well as you are on stage. So this is basic also for the whole situation of being on stage. You have the attention of all the others, of all the spectators, of your audience. It should be like this. It is theater. I remember one scene in a workshop we did, Annette and me, concerning Astoundment. The theme given to 3 actresses and actors was I came, saw, and was astounded. Or I came, looked, and was astounded. This had to be done by improvisation. So the first player entered the stage and... Oh, what is this? It's again that I play and explain at the same time. He looked at his hand. Oh, it's fixed on an, I would say, arm. And this arm is fixed to, I would call it, body. And I thought when I attended the scene, oh, this takes a lot of time to discover the whole body. But actually the scene was quite compact and short, and the hand was the main thing. And so, okay, full astoundment all the time about just to have a hand. I mean, this is genius, no? Oh, a second hand. Now, what can I do with 2 hands? And this actor formed a bowl out of these hands. Oh, I have a bowl. It's something, something else could be in, or I don't know. So actress 2 came on stage and she gave full astoundment to this bowl. She as well, of course, had 2 hands, and she added her hands to those of player 1. And so we had a larger bowl. Oh, both were astounded about this. Now player 3, it was also an actress, came on stage and she was astounded by something that could be in this bowl. So she went there and she patted it. It was somehow an animal maybe, and it could have had a fur. She was doing like this. Oh, and then it was growing. The bowl grew larger and larger, and it was quite heavy. Oh, they had to put some power to keep it, but then it changed. It became lighter and lighter, as if it was a balloon filled with helium or something else that's more light than the air, and then it went away. But actually it was no balloon, because it still was alive. And they waved at it with their hands. All 3. Hey! And this, actually it was no object. It was somebody. It flew away through the air. The players now had the expectation, oh, our scene is finished. But we didn't stop. We didn't want to interrupt. And the audience was kept quiet. No one gave an applause, just waiting, because the tension and the intention of this play was so nice. And so after a while, oh, all three, nearly at the same time, found something else that was somewhere in the audience, taking her their full fascination, and they attended something in full astoundment, something new, and then I said, cut, now you are even in the second scene. And this was just to demonstrate that with Astoundment you never have a lack of ideas. The story goes on and goes on, and if one story is finished, there will be a new one. It will be very easy for you to find how the play can go on, because in Astoundment you always get something new. And this is not only on stage, but also in life, in all-day life. If you have open senses to see the world in astoundment, you give the world a chance, and you give yourself a chance to see the beauty of life. I'm just now considering whether there is something else about Astoundment I could tell you, but I think at the moment it's not. So thank you a lot for attending this first lecture about the secrets of playfulness. This was the first secret, Astoundment. I say thank you and goodbye. Namaste. Ciao. I hope to see you again next time.